Life is full of unexpected challenges. Stress, setbacks, and uncertainties can shake even the strongest of us. No matter how carefully we plan, we will encounter difficulties, whether it's losing a job, facing a personal conflict, or dealing with an unforeseen crisis. Many people feel powerless in the face of adversity, believing that external events control their emotions and outcomes. But what if I told you that you could remain unshaken, calm, and in control, no matter what happens? This isn't just wishful thinking. It's the power of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that has been guiding people toward inner strength and resilience for centuries. The Stoics understood that while we cannot control external events, we can always control how we respond to them. And that simple shift in mindset can transform how we experience life. In today's video, we're going to uncover 10 Stoic principles that can change the way you respond to life's difficulties. These aren't just abstract ideas or outdated philosophies. They are practical, actionable strategies that you can apply immediately. These principles have been used by some of history's greatest minds, from Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, to Epictetus, the former slave-turned-philosopher. Their teachings have stood the test of time, helping individuals cultivate mental toughness, emotional balance, and an unshakable mindset. By the end of this video, you will have a Stoic blueprint to navigate any situation with clarity, composure, and confidence. You'll learn how to master your emotions, handle criticism without being affected, turn obstacles into opportunities, and train your mind to stay strong, even in the face of adversity. And here's something special. If you stay until the end, I'll share a powerful Stoic exercise that will train your mind to be immune to stress. This simple yet effective technique is used by leaders, athletes, and high achievers to build mental resilience in the modern world. So, if you're tired of feeling overwhelmed by life's uncertainties and want to develop an unbreakable mindset, you're in the right place. Are you ready? Let's begin. Imagine setting sail on a vast ocean with no destination in mind. You drift aimlessly, at the mercy of every wave and storm. This is what life feels like without a clear purpose, directionless, vulnerable, and easily swayed by external forces. The Stoics believed that having a firm purpose is the foundation of resilience. Epictetus, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "Difficulties show a person's character. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it." What does this mean for us? It means that when you have a clear purpose, challenges do not break you, they shape you. A strong sense of purpose acts as a mental compass, guiding you through life's inevitable struggles. It gives you something to hold on to when everything around you feels uncertain. Purpose goes beyond career goals. Many people mistake purpose for just their career aspirations or financial success. But your purpose runs deeper. It is about your values, principles, and the impact you want to make. It is the reason why you wake up every morning and choose to keep going, even when life gets tough. What do you stand for? What kind of person do you want to be? What values guide your decisions? Even Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor with immense power, questioned his purpose daily. Despite ruling one of the greatest empires in history, he constantly reflected on his values and ensured he was living in alignment with them. If even an emperor needed to check in on his purpose, imagine how important it is for us to do the same. Practical Stoic exercise. The purpose reflection. Ritual: take a notebook or a blank sheet of paper. Ask yourself, what is truly important to me, right? Down 3 core values that define who you are and why they matter every morning. Read these values and ask yourself, am I living in alignment with them today? Example: If one of your values is integrity, reflect. Am I making decisions today that align with honesty and ethics? If one of your values is growth, ask, am I learning something new and pushing myself forward? The power of a firm purpose. When you have a well-defined purpose, obstacles become easier to navigate. Instead of seeing challenges as roadblocks, you see them as stepping stones leading toward your mission. Think of your purpose as an anchor. When the storms of life hit, it keeps you grounded. Without it, you will be tossed around by every difficulty, every opinion, and every setback. If you do not take control of your purpose, the world will assign one to you. You will chase trends, seek approval, and live reactively instead of proactively. But when you define your purpose, you move with clarity, confidence, and resilience, no matter what life throws your way. What is your firm purpose? Write it down, live by it, and let it be your guide. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Most of life's stress comes from trying to control things that are outside of our power. We worry about what others think of us, fear how situations will unfold, and try to force outcomes that are beyond our reach. But the Stoics taught that true peace comes not from controlling the world, but from controlling our own minds. Epictetus famously said, "You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them." This means that external events, other people's actions, and unexpected hardships are not what disturb us. It is our interpretation of them that causes distress. We suffer more from our reaction to problems than from the problems themselves. Shift focus to what you can control. If you spend your life trying to control things beyond your reach, you will always be frustrated. The Stoics encourage us to divide the world into two categories. What is within our control? Our thoughts, actions, decisions, and attitudes. What is outside our control? Other people's opinions, the economy, the weather, and random events. By focusing only on what we can control, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and wasted energy. Example: imagine you prepare for a job interview, but despite your best effort, you do not get the position. If you focus on the rejection, you will feel disappointed and powerless. But if you focus on what you can control, improving your skills, applying for new opportunities, and learning from the experience, you will grow stronger instead of becoming discouraged. Your reaction determines everything. When someone offends you, insults you, or treats you unfairly, you have two choices. Let their words dictate your emotions, making you feel angry or upset. Recognize that their words are their opinion, not your reality, and remain unaffected. Practical tip: before reacting to an insult or a frustrating situation, pause and ask yourself, does this really deserve my energy? Most of the time, you will realize that it is not worth your emotional investment. By choosing not to react, you take back control over your inner peace. Modern science confirms. Stoic wisdom psychologists have proven that our emotional state is shaped by cognitive reframing, the ability to change how we interpret events. Research shows that people who reframe negative situations with a different perspective experience lower stress and anxiety. For example, if you see failure as a personal defeat, you will feel discouraged. But if you reframe it as a learning opportunity, it becomes fuel for growth. This is exactly what the Stoics practiced, choosing empowering interpretations instead of negative ones. You cannot control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. By mastering your mind and letting go of what you cannot change, you will live with more peace, confidence, and resilience. Instead of wasting energy on the uncontrollable, Focus on what is within your power, your actions, your mindset, and your response to challenges. This shift alone will transform your life. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Life is full of unexpected challenges. At some point, you will face rejection, failure, or setbacks that seem to block your path. But what if these obstacles were not barriers, but stepping stones? The Stoics believed that every hardship is an opportunity in disguise. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher, famously said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that the very thing that seems to stop you can actually guide you toward a better path, if you learn how to use adversity as fuel for growth. Resisting obstacles causes more suffering. When something goes wrong, our instinct is often to complain, resist, or feel defeated. But the more we fight against reality, the more we suffer. Instead of resisting obstacles, the Stoics teach us to accept them and use them to our advantage. Example: imagine you lose your job. At first it feels like a disaster. But what if this setback is actually an opportunity to explore a new career path that aligns better with your skills, develop new abilities that make you more valuable in the future, start your own business or project that you never had time for before? Instead of seeing obstacles as unfair roadblocks, see them as redirections, opportunities to grow and evolve in ways you never expected. History's greatest minds used failure to succeed. Some of the most successful people in history faced massive failures before achieving greatness. Albert Einstein was told he would never succeed in academia, yet he went on to redefine physics. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the very company he founded, but later used that experience to reinvent the brand and create the iPhone. Oprah Winfrey was once told she was not fit for television, yet she became one of the most influential media figures in history. Each of them faced rejection and failure, but instead of being crushed by it, they used it as a launchpad for reinvention. Practical mindset shift. The obstacle is the way. When you face a setback, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this challenge to grow? What opportunities does this difficulty open up for me? By shifting your perspective, obstacles become fuel for growth instead of sources of frustration. Hardships are inevitable, but suffering is optional. The Stoic approach is not about avoiding challenges, but embracing them as necessary parts of growth. Every difficulty is a chance to build resilience, sharpen your skills, and discover a new path. The next time you face an obstacle, remember, what stands in the way becomes the way. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Imagine trying to ride a wild horse without any training. The horse bucks, twists, and throws you off, leaving you completely at its mercy. This is what happens when we allow our emotions to control us. We react impulsively, make rash decisions, and often regret our actions later. But what if you could train your emotions the way a skilled rider tames a wild horse? What if, instead of being a prisoner to anger, frustration, or anxiety, you could observe these feelings without letting them dictate your actions? This is the Stoic approach to emotional discipline, the ability to acknowledge emotions without being controlled by them. Why emotional discipline is crucial. Many of our biggest regrets come from moments of emotional weakness, saying something hurtful in anger, making poor decisions in frustration, or acting out of fear. The Stoics understood that while emotions are natural, they should not rule our behavior. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this: and you will find strength. This means that no matter what happens, you always have the ability to choose your response. Emotions are not the enemy. Impulsive reactions are. Pause before you react. One of the most practical Stoic techniques is delaying your reaction. When you feel a surge of anger, frustration, or sadness, do not act immediately. Instead, train yourself to observe the emotion rather than act on it. Practical Stoic exercise. The moment you feel frustration, take 3 deep breaths before responding. Ask yourself, is this worth my energy? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, respond with intention, not impulse. This simple habit gives your rational mind time to catch up before emotions take over. Science confirms the Stoic approach. Modern psychology supports what the Stoics knew centuries ago. Studies show that delayed response reduces emotional outbursts and leads to better decision-making. Neurologists have found that emotions peak for about 90 seconds. If you do not react immediately, the intensity fades. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, teaches that reframing emotional triggers can prevent overreaction and anxiety. By creating space between emotion and action, you make better choices and maintain inner peace. Emotional discipline is strength. Many people believe that emotional control means suppressing emotions, but this is not true. The Stoics did not teach people to ignore their feelings. Instead, they taught that we should acknowledge emotions, understand them, and then decide how to act. Example: someone insults you. The reactive response is anger and retaliation. The Stoic response is observing the insult, recognizing that it is only words, and choosing whether it deserves your energy. Mastering emotional discipline does not mean becoming emotionless. It means becoming emotionally intelligent. It means choosing responses instead of reacting impulsively. The next time you feel anger rising or anxiety creeping in, remember, pause. Take 3 deep breaths. Ask yourself if this deserves your energy. By practicing this daily, you will gain control over your emotions rather than letting them control you. And when you master this skill, you master yourself. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Criticism is an inevitable part of life. No matter who you are, what you do, or how successful you become, someone will always have something to say about you. The question is, how will you respond? For many, criticism triggers defensiveness, anger, or self-doubt. But the Stoics saw criticism differently, not as an attack, but as a test of character and wisdom. Epictetus advised, if someone speaks ill of you, do not defend yourself. Instead, reflect if there is truth in their words. This means that criticism does not define you. How you process it does. It is not about proving people wrong, but about using their words as a tool for growth. Why criticism feels so personal. Often react emotionally to criticism because we tie our self-worth to others' opinions. We assume all criticism is an attack. We fear being wrong or flawed. But what if we changed our perspective? What if we saw criticism as an opportunity to grow rather than a personal attack? Practical Stoic approach, separating useful feedback from negativity. Not all criticism is equal. The key is to distinguish between constructive feedback and baseless. Give it if the criticism is valid, use it to improve. Example: a mentor points out a weakness in your work. Instead of feeling attacked, see it as a chance to get better. If the criticism is baseless or fueled by negativity, let it go. Example: a stranger on social media insults you. Their words are not about you. They are a reflection of their own. Choose a practical tip. Before reacting to criticism, ask, is this coming from someone I respect? Does this criticism contain truth that can help me improve? Or is this just noise that does not deserve my energy? By analyzing criticism instead of reacting emotionally, you gain power over your responses. History's greatest leaders faced relentless criticism. Some of the most respected figures in history endured constant attacks and judgment. Abraham Lincoln was called incompetent and unfit to lead, yet he became one of the greatest presidents in history. Winston Churchill was mocked and doubted before he led Britain through World War II. Elon Musk and Steve Jobs were ridiculed and criticized before revolutionizing technology. What made them successful was not their ability to avoid criticism, but their ability to use it as fuel for growth. Final thought: criticism will always be a part of life. You cannot control what others say about you, but you can control how you interpret and respond to it. See criticism as a test. Will you react emotionally and let it weaken you? Or will you analyze it, learn from it, and become stronger? The choice is yours. The next time someone criticizes you, pause, reflect, and respond with wisdom, not emotion. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Most people go through life hoping that nothing goes wrong. They avoid thinking about negative possibilities, assuming that ignoring potential problems will keep them from happening. But the Stoics took a different approach. They prepared for hardship before it arrived. The practice of premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils, is a Stoic exercise where you mentally rehearse challenges before they happen. This is not about being pessimistic. It is about strengthening your mind so that when difficulties arise, you are ready. Why you should visualize hardship. When a crisis hits, most people panic because they have never considered how they would respond. By anticipating challenges, you train your mind to remain calm and rational under pressure. Marcus Aurelius practiced this daily, writing, "Begin each day by telling yourself, I will encounter interference, ingratitude, selfishness, and dishonesty." By expecting difficulties, he was never caught off guard. Instead of reacting emotionally, he responded with composure and clarity. How to practice premeditatio malorum. This is a simple but powerful exercise you can incorporate into your daily routine. Every morning, take 5 minutes to visualize a potential obstacle or setback you might face today, such as a disagreement, a failed project, or an unexpected expense. How you might feel when it happens: frustration, disappointment, or stress. How you will respond in a way that aligns with Stoic wisdom, with patience, logic, and emotional control. Example: you anticipate that a coworker might criticize your work. Instead of reacting defensively, you mentally prepare to listen calmly and respond constructively. You imagine losing an important client. Instead of panicking, you visualize yourself focusing on solutions and finding new opportunities. By practicing this daily, your brain becomes accustomed to facing hardship with resilience, making real-life difficulties far less overwhelming. Modern proof: how elite performers use mental rehearsal. This Stoic technique is not just ancient wisdom. It is used by top athletes, Navy SEALs, and business leaders today. Olympic athletes visualize their race before stepping onto the track, so when the moment comes, they are already mentally prepared. Navy SEALs undergo brutal training and mentally simulate worst-case scenarios, so that under fire, their reactions are automatic and precise. Successful CEOs prepare for economic downturns and business failures, ensuring they can make calm, strategic decisions under stress. By mentally rehearsing hardship, they remove fear and hesitation, allowing them to act with confidence when challenges arise. Final thought, premeditatio. Malorum is not about dwelling on negative outcomes. It is about arming yourself with mental resilience so that nothing catches you off guard. By practicing this daily, you will move through life with a calm, prepared mind. When difficulties arise, you will not panic. You will execute your plan with clarity and strength. Next time you wake up, ask yourself, what challenges might I face today? How will I respond in a way that makes me stronger? With this mindset, no hardship will ever break you. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Your mind is like a garden. If you let weeds grow unchecked, they will choke out the good plants, leaving you with a chaotic, tangled mess. The same is true for your thoughts. If you allow negativity, toxic influences, and distractions to take root, they will overwhelm your peace, clarity, and focus. The Stoics understood that what we allow into our minds shapes our reality. If you constantly consume negative information, engage with toxic people, or dwell on fear-based thinking, you will start to see the world through a distorted lens, one filled with anger, anxiety, and stress. Why mental space matters. Epictetus warned about guarding our perceptions. If a person gave away your body to a stranger, you would be outraged. Yet you hand over your mind to anyone who insults you and allow it to be disturbed. This means that while most people protect their physical health, they neglect their mental space, allowing negativity to invade their thoughts unchecked. Ask yourself, do I spend time with people who drain my energy? Am I addicted to negative news that makes me anxious? Do I allow other people's problems to control my mood? If the answer is yes, it is time to filter what enters your mind. Modern science confirms. Stoic wisdom. Neuroscientists have found that constant exposure to negativity reshapes the brain, making you more anxious, reactive, and emotionally unstable. Studies show that consuming negative news first thing in the morning raises stress levels for the entire day. Social media algorithms thrive on fear and outrage, feeding your mind a cycle of anger and anxiety. Surrounding yourself with negative people rewires your brain to expect conflict and stress. In other words, what you focus on, you become. The 7-day negativity detox challenge to reset your mental space. Try a 1-week negativity detox. Cut out negative news and social media. Check updates once a day instead of scrolling endlessly. Avoid gossip and complaining. When people around you start complaining, change the subject or walk away. Limit exposure to toxic people. Spend time with those who uplift and inspire you instead. Replace negativity with positivity. Read books that expand your mind. Listen to uplifting podcasts and practice gratitude. Start each morning with a Stoic mindset. Before checking your phone, take a few minutes to reflect on a positive or powerful thought. The power of mental clarity. Once you start filtering out negativity, you will notice an incredible shift. You will feel calmer and more in control. You will be less reactive and easily irritated. You will focus better on what truly matters. Protecting your mental space is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Final thought: you would not allow someone to dump garbage into your home. So why let toxic thoughts and influences take over your mind? Start treating your mental space like a sacred place, only allowing in what serves your peace and purpose. Try the Today negativity detox and watch how your mindset transforms. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Not everything in life deserves a reaction. In fact, many problems are made worse not by the situation itself, but by our impulsive responses. How often have you reacted in anger, frustration, or fear, only to regret it later? A quick reply to an insulting comment, an emotional outburst in a tense conversation, or a rash decision in a stressful moment. All of these can escalate minor issues into major problems. The Stoics understood that true power lies in self-restraint. They taught that the ability to pause, think, and act deliberately leads to wisdom, peace, and control. Why restraining actions is essential, Marcus Aurelius advised. You always have the power to have no opinion. You can also delay your response until you have full clarity. This means that when you react immediately to external events, you surrender control. But when you pause and choose your response carefully, you take back control. Small reactions can create big problems. Think about a simple situation. You are driving and someone cuts you off in traffic. Your first instinct might be to honk aggressively or yell in frustration. But what does that achieve? The other driver will not magically become more considerate, and your stress levels will only increase. Instead, if you take a deep breath and let it go, you remain calm and in control. The situation ends before it becomes a problem. Many of life's biggest conflicts start with small, unrestrained reactions. The practical Stoic rule: will this matter a week from now? Before responding to anything that upsets you, ask yourself, will this matter in a week? If the answer is no, let it go. If the answer is yes, respond with thoughtfulness and purpose. This simple mental filter prevents needless stress and regret. Science confirms the Stoic approach. Modern psychology shows that anger naturally fades within 90 seconds, unless we continue to dwell on it. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for emotions, creates short bursts of anger that quickly disappear, unless you keep replaying the situation in your mind. When you delay your reaction, the emotional intensity drops, making it easier to think clearly and respond wisely. This means that if you just pause and breathe for 90 seconds, most negative emotions will pass without needing a reaction. How to practice restraint in daily life. When something triggers you, pause before responding. Take a deep breath and observe your emotions. Ask, will this matter in a week? Choose a response that aligns with wisdom, not impulse. By practicing this daily, you will develop emotional control, mental clarity, and the ability to navigate life's challenges with composure. True strength is not about always winning battles. It is about knowing which battles are worth fighting. Not everything needs your reaction. The less you react impulsively, the more control you have over your mind, emotions, and life. Pause, reflect, and act deliberately. This is the path to inner peace and wisdom. Let's move to the next Stoic principle. Many people suffer not because of what happens to them, but because they resist reality. They cling to how things should be, rather than accepting how things actually are. But as the Stoics teach, what you resist persists. The more you fight against reality, the more pain you create for yourself. Why resisting reality causes suffering? When we refuse to accept loss, failure, or hardship, we waste energy wishing things were different instead of adapting to what is. If you lose a job, resisting reality means obsessing over why it happened or blaming others. Acceptance means shifting focus to new opportunities. If a relationship ends, resisting means replaying the past and feeling stuck. Acceptance allows healing and growth. If you face an illness or personal setback, resisting leads to frustration. Acceptance allows you to take the best possible action moving forward. Marcus Aurelius put it simply: do not waste time arguing about what a good person should be. Be one. This means we must stop complaining about how life should be and start taking action based on how life actually is. Radical acceptance is the key to peace. Acceptance does not mean passivity or giving up. It means seeing reality clearly so you can respond effectively. The Stoics believed that the only true freedom is accepting what you cannot change and acting on what you can. This is the foundation of mental resilience. Practical Stoic exercise. The acceptance mantra. Whenever you feel frustration over a situation beyond your control, repeat this simple Stoic mantra. I accept what I cannot change, and I act on what I can. This shifts your focus from resistance to action, from wishing things were different to working with what is. New insight. Acceptance is mental freedom. Many believe that acceptance is a sign of weakness, but it is actually the greatest strength. Accepting reality frees your mind from unnecessary suffering. It allows you to channel your energy into solutions instead of complaints. It gives you clarity and peace, no matter what happens around you. The sooner you accept reality, the sooner you can move forward. Instead of resisting life's hardships, embrace them as part of the journey. The next time you feel overwhelmed by something outside your control, pause and remind yourself, I accept what I cannot change, and I act on what I can. That is where true strength lies. Let's move to the final Stoic principle. The modern world encourages materialism, status seeking, and the pursuit of fleeting pleasures. Many people chase wealth, possessions, and social validation, only to find themselves feeling empty, stressed, and unfulfilled. But the Stoics taught a different approach, one of simplicity, virtue, and alignment with nature. Marcus Aurelius summed it up in a simple yet powerful statement: live in accordance with nature. This means focusing on what truly matters, not material excess but purpose, relationships, and personal growth. What does it mean to live according to nature? For the Stoics, living according to nature meant understanding two things: your role as a rational being, using reason and wisdom to guide your actions instead of being controlled by impulses; your connection to the world around you, focusing on what is natural and meaningful, rather than chasing artificial desires. When you align with these principles, life becomes simpler, clearer, and more fulfilling. Why chasing? External validation leads to emptiness. Many people tie their happiness to external things: expensive possessions, social media attention, promotions, and status. But these things are temporary and outside our control. The moment they disappear, so does the happiness they brought. Epictetus warned, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. This does not mean rejecting success. It means not depending on it for happiness. True fulfillment comes from internal growth, not external rewards. Practical Stoic tip: simplify your life to live according to nature. Focus on what truly matters. Purpose: define what is meaningful to you and remove distractions that do not align with it. Relationships: invest in deep, genuine connections rather than surface-level interactions. Growth: focus on learning, improving, and living virtuously instead of chasing short-term pleasures. Try this. Declutter your life. Eliminate unnecessary commitments, toxic influences, and things that add stress. Reduce time spent on superficial pursuits, such as endless scrolling on social media or worrying about others' opinions. Practice gratitude for simple joys, health, meaningful conversations, and self-improvement. Modern science confirms Stoic wisdom. Research shows that people who live simply and focus on personal values experience lower stress levels, higher overall happiness, greater mental clarity, and well-being. Study on minimalism found that people who reduced excess material possessions and focused on experiences rather than objects reported greater life satisfaction and emotional stability. True peace comes from living with purpose, embracing simplicity, and aligning with what is natural. Instead of chasing status, wealth, or fleeting pleasures, focus on virtue, wisdom, and meaningful connections. Ask yourself, what distractions can I remove from my life? Am I living according to my true nature, or am I chasing artificial desires? By simplifying and living in alignment with your values, you will find greater clarity, peace, and fulfillment, just as the Stoics did. This concludes our 10 Stoic principles, but your journey toward inner strength and wisdom is just beginning. Let's recap everything we've learned. Imagine waking up today knowing it is your last day on Earth. How would you act differently? Would you waste time stressing over small problems? Would you hold grudges over meaningless disagreements? Would you let fear stop you from doing what truly matters? This is the Stoic last day. Reflection, a powerful mental exercise that shifts your perspective and helps you focus on what is truly important. Why this exercise works. The Stoics constantly reminded themselves of the fleeting nature of life. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This is not meant to create fear. It is meant to bring clarity. When you live with the awareness that time is limited, you stop wasting energy on things that do not serve you. How to practice the last day. Reflection. Every morning, ask yourself, if today were my last day, how would I spend my time? What grudges, fears, or distractions would I let go of? What meaningful actions would I take today? Act on your answers. Start living the way you would if you knew time was running out. End your day with gratitude. Reflect on what you did well and what you can improve. Tomorrow, the mindset shift. That follows, you stop procrastinating and take action. You let go of unnecessary stress and complaints. You focus on people and experiences that truly matter. Practicing this mindset daily will transform the way you live, making you more intentional, peaceful, and fulfilled. These 10 Stoic principles will make you calm, strong, and unstoppable in the face of any challenge. Now I want to hear from you. Which principle resonated with you the most? Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. If this video added value to your life, hit subscribe and join our Stoic community. Together we grow stronger every day. And remember, you do not control life's events, but you control how you respond. Master this, and you master life. See you in the next video. Stay strong, stay stoic,